Good morning, and thank you for joining us for this time of devotion and Bible study. The Hebrews had languished for centuries under the heavy hands of their Egyptian oppressors. Generations had known only cruelty, afflictions, and misery. In their calamity, they cried out to the Lord, and He heard them. The Lord was ready to bring His people out of bondage. He sent 9 miraculous acts of judgment upon the Egyptians, each one more severe than the previous. Finally, the Lord plagued the nation with the death of every firstborn. While He passed over the Hebrews, He passed through the Egyptians. Every home suffered loss, from the lowest member of society to the king himself. The Egyptians had had all they could stand, and they drove the Hebrews from their domain. Oddly enough, as the Israelites exited Egypt, they took what appeared to be a very bizarre detour. From the standpoint of military strategy, the detour God told the Israelites to take was sheer lunacy. They were already well on their way to freedom when God ordered them to camp between the desert and the sea. They were completely vulnerable. Why on earth would God put His people in this kind of position? Any military strategist would have recognized immediately that they were trapped. From Pharaoh's perspective, the Hebrews had cornered themselves, so he decided this was an excellent opportunity to force them back into captivity. With their backs to the sea, the king decided it was time to exhibit his own power, and he would display it with the full might of his own military forces, including 600 chariots. It occurs to me that the children of Israel actually believed God was impotent, at least now. Despite His promises to the contrary, despite the fact that He had raised up a deliverer in the person of Moses, despite the fact that He had shown a vast array of incredible signs and wonders over the past several months and executed judgment against the gods of Egypt, the Hebrews believed at this very moment that they were doomed. They were stuck between a rock and a hard place, between the waters of the Red Sea and the violent aggression of Pharaoh's soldiers. Jehovah could put on a series of exciting shows, but in the end, He just couldn't save. Exodus 14, verse 10 beginning, "And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. So they were afraid, and the children of Israel cried out to the Lord. Then they said to Moses, Because there were no graves in Egypt, have you taken us away to die in the wilderness? Why have you so dealt with us, to bring us up out of Egypt? Is this not the word that we told you in Egypt, saying, Let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness." The truth of the matter was, every expression of providential care, every miraculous act of judgment against Egypt, and every distinction the Lord made between the Hebrews and the Egyptians should have been an occasion when Israel's faith was being built. So that by Exodus 14, when Pharaoh's mighty army showed up, the Hebrews should have said, "Stand still and watch, everybody. God's going to fight for us again." Even though this story is thousands of years old, it's as fresh and current as this past hour's Facebook post. When you're stuck, when you're between a rock and a hard place and your back is up against the sea, it's tempting to share Israel's faithless and illogical view. God, despite the countless times I've prayed to you, you're obviously not going to deliver me. This detour is actually a dead end. In reality, it's when your suffering is the most palpable and your doubts have risen to the surface that they must give way to faith in God. Pay close attention to what Moses told Israel at this juncture. "Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which He will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace." Exodus 14, 13 and 14. Notice, the salvation of the Lord. He will accomplish for you. The Lord will fight for you. Fighting was God's job. Faith was Israel's job. Faith in God doesn't mean we will never hurt, experience pain, or be free from trouble. Faith in God doesn't mean we'll never know what it's like to be stuck with our backs to the sea. It means accepting the fact that He's always in control. He promises to never forsake you, and that ultimately even the grave will bow to His divine will. In other words, it means let God do the fighting, because He's the only one qualified to do so. Thank you again for joining us to study God's Word. Please join us every Monday morning at 10 a.m. for more study. You're also invited to join us for our assemblies each week. On Sundays, we have Bible classes for all ages at 9:30 and worship at 10:30 and 6. Our worship assemblies are live streamed on YouTube. Our Wednesday night Bible study is at 7. We offer Bible correspondence courses through the mail and personal face-to-face Bible study. You can contact us through any of the means scrolling across your screen. Have a blessed day.